Hi team, I hope you're all well. Today is Monday. We're going to start a new weekly vlog, and my Monday started off really bizarre. Andy had work this morning, so I got up with him at 5:20, but I had a terrible night's sleep. Last week was not a great week for me. I had a lot on my plate, and I think I am honestly maybe this close to a burnout. It's more personal stuff than it is work stuff, and I'm just not having a good time at the moment. So I have decided that today I'm taking the day off work. At some point my dad will message me with invoices for him to do, for me to do for him, which I will either do today or I'll sneak them in tomorrow morning, but I will need to do those. But as far as work is concerned, I personally am taking the day off. I will obviously be filming my vlog, but as far as editing, filming, doing any admin type work today, I am going to do my very best just to take the day off, chill out, maybe catch up on some booktube. I'm so behind on booktube, it's not even funny. And also just do some reading for me of things that I want to read. This week I am mood reading because I feel like that's what I need. I think I need a reset and just to read books that I want to read just because. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I am starting off with Credence by Penelope Douglas. I started this at the end of last week's vlog. I'm not too far in. I'm 82%, not 82% struggles, 82 pages in, and we're following Tiernan. And at the very beginning of this book, she's 17 years old, but at the very beginning of this book, her parents die at the same time. I'm not going to explain how that happens, but what I will say is that if you're thinking about picking this one up, check your triggers, because that immediately is a trigger. And she has had a very tumultuous relationship with her parents. They're quite famous people, very, very rich, always in the limelight, and honestly couldn't give two shits about their daughter. When one very small thing is that her dad built a rope swing in the garden, and they never play with Tiernan on the swing. Like, if they're on it and she goes over to play with them, they will just walk away. They cannot be fucked. So she doesn't go on it or anything. So anyway, we have this situation where her parents have died. Now, she's always been kind of brought up by the housekeepers, and there's been this woman that's been there for the last 10 years that essentially has brought Tiernan up. And she's like, do you want to come and stay with me? Blah, blah, blah. Tiernan's like, no, I need to sort myself out and all of this lot. She's not particularly upset about her parents dying for reasons. So she ends up getting this phone call from this guy called Jake, who is actually her dad's stepbrother, so it's her step uncle. Now, I want to preface this with the fact that this is the first time she has ever even heard from this man. She knew of him, but she's never spoken to him, never met him before, never met his kids, Noah, and I keep forgetting his name, Caleb. Noah and Caleb, his two boys. Who I assume are a little bit older than Tiernan. I think she's going to be the youngest out of all of them. And he ends up saying to her, look, your dad in his will said that I was to look after you until you come of age, which is apparently in 10 weeks. And I want to offer you this opportunity to come and live with us. If you don't want to and you decide you want to emancipate yourself, I will not fight you on this. It is entirely up to you. We live in the arse end of nowhere, and there, you know, for a good portion of the year you will be cut off from the world because of the weather. We are at the top of a mountain, and for a good portion obviously of like winter, you will not be able to go anywhere. You will be cut off. And she's like, you know what, I think this is actually something that I need to do, and I'm going to do it. So she goes, and from there I assume this is like a why choose. Do with that what you will. I am never one to yuck anybody's yum, so please don't do it with me. This is the first time I have read a step anything book. It's not step siblings, it is step uncle and step cousins, but she's meeting them for the very first time in this book. So that it's not like they've always been in her life and she's always seen them as uncle and cousins. She hasn't. She actually calls him Uncle Jake at one point, and he's like, please don't call me that, just call me Jake. So You know, he will refer to her as his niece to other people, but he doesn't see her as his niece. He's just taken her in to help her out because she knows what his stepbrother was like. Because he knows what his stepbrother was like, sorry. So I'm interested to see how this goes. I have heard nothing but good things. Well, I've heard obviously terrible things as well, because people will always come for something that is different. But I've heard really good things about this, and I just feel like, I think my mood right now, I mentioned in last week's vlog that I think I'm really struggling with like fluffier, very happily ever after type romances, even with the spice. I think I'm just struggling with that at the moment, and I'm not sure why. And I feel like maybe I need something a little bit more dark, a bit more gritty, something that's going to make me feel something, maybe even have me sobbing. I know the answer to this is the Boys of Tom and series. I just don't think I'm quite ready to make that commitment right now, so I have decided to go for this instead, and we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to continue on with this for the rest of the day, and we're just going to see where the week takes us. I may revert back to basically picking up my TBR, but otherwise I kind of just want to mood read. It could be a case that I actually want to pick, like I do want to pick the books up off of my TBR, my October TBR, but it could be a case of I'm in the mood right now to pick one of them books up. Like Rewitched last week, I really wanted to pick it up, but I just didn't get to it in time. So we'll see what happens with this, but I haven't fully mood read in a long time, and I feel like this could be a good time. So I'm intrigued to see what happens with it, whether or not it's going to be a messy vlog, whether or not I actually fucking finish anything or not, I don't know. I am also in the background currently rereading Addie LaRue as well. Just FYI, I did mention it at the end of last week's vlog and then didn't mention it again. Currently rereading that in the background of this video for another video. Hoping to finish that this week and start another one for that video. So we'll see. You'll get no thoughts from me in this video for that book, but just thought I'd mention it. So that's what's going on. Tomorrow I've got quite a busy day. I'm going to have to actually get some work done in the morning because I'm not doing anything today. I will need to do that, and then I need to nip into town tomorrow afternoon. I have a thing, so I need to nip into town tomorrow afternoon and go do that and see how that goes. And then yeah, I should be at my brother's on Wednesday, but we've got a few things going on with family at the moment that mean that I may not be going to his. I will be getting my nails done though regardless. I may nip and see how he's doing, but I will either be working Wednesday, or I may be working from home, or I may not be working at all for my dad on Wednesday, but I will be home. And then the rest of the week we have no plans. So Andy's off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's what's going on. We're going to mood read. Okay, before we continue on with the rest of this video, I would like to thank the sponsor, who are Serious Readers. You will have heard me talking about this little fellow several times now, and I just cannot get enough of it. I am obsessed with my Serious Light. This is one of the high definition ones, and it is a game changer. It spends the majority of its time in this room, but on occasion I will move it around the house if and when necessary. But it is absolutely fabulous. It's got daylight wavelength technology that replicates the daylight spectrum as closely as possible, and it just makes for much nicer, easier reading. It's a lot nicer on your eyes, there's less eye strain, and it's just really good. And this thing is so easy to move around. I again have the heavy duty one so that it will sit in place, but it's very easy to move around. You can move this head around, up, down, all around. You can make it brighter, or you know, not as bright. You can make it more focused, and it's just perfect, and I absolutely adore it. So if you would like to get £100 off a high definition light and free UK shipping, you can use my code Steph24. I will put it on the screen here. There will also be a link in the description box down below. If you wanted to go and check out the Serious Light range, they do have a range of different ones that you can get, and I would clearly 100% recommend. I absolutely love this. I kind of want one for every room. They're very good, and I would recommend. So £100 off and free UK shipping. Check out the link and my code in the description box down below, Steph24. You will get both of those things. So thank you again to Serious Readers for sponsoring this video. It's much later in the day. It's like gone 6 o'clock. It is 6:14 in the evening. I've had such a nice day, albeit I haven't really moved from this spot, and I've read the same book all day. I've made no progress in Addy, which I probably should have done really and prioritised, but fuck it. We're here to have fun today. I need to recharge, and I feel like I have been doing that. I feel like I've perked up even from this morning quite a lot, so that's good news. But I've been sat here all day reading Credence. But I've been reading Credence and I'm now on page 346. But I just read chapter 22 in this book. If you've read it and you know, you know. But Caleb, I don't know how to explain my thoughts on this with Caleb, because for the majority of this book, I have thought that he's a complete dick. And I haven't been a fan of his, and I have been worried about Tiernan being left alone with him. But this man, oh my heart. I will say as well, about at least twice I have had tears in my eyes. Nothing has spilled over yet, but at least twice in this book, 2 separate occasions, I have had tears in my eyes. Around page like 180 I think it was, and then again maybe the 300 page mark ish, maybe, I can't remember. But at least twice I've had tears in my eyes. This has given me everything I needed and more. I felt ever so slightly uncomfortable when things started progressing a little bit more with these guys, but that didn't last too long. That didn't last too long at all. But Caleb, I have the hots for Daddy Jake for sure, but Caleb is not as he seems to be. And I know I still have, what is it, like 200 pages left? Is it less than 200 pages? Yeah, I've got like 180 pages left or so. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it's not enough. It's not enough. And this is, maybe this is where I should be right now with my romances, is the slow burns. I can't stop thinking about All Roads Lead Here, and maybe by Mariana Zapata, maybe this is where I need to be, is with the slow burns, where I get to this point and normally I would be like, for the love of God, 180 pages left to go, what more can happen? Whereas now I'm like, only 180 pages left to go, what do you mean? That's not enough. I need more time. This was a great shout from me, honestly, and I'm really happy that I've picked it up. I am having the time of my life, so I'm going to carry on reading this until Andy gets home. I don't think I'm going to get it finished today, which is incredibly sad, I will say, but I'm going to carry on with it regardless. It has poured down all day, really, really loud all day. I don't know if you'll be able to, you could probably hear the bike outside. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. It's pounding on the back door. It's been pouring down all day, and it has been the perfect, glorious recharge day. I did get out, so I had some fresh air this morning, and it's just been lovely. So anyway, I'm going to carry on with this and continue to fall in love with these men. Okay, hello team. It is Tuesday. It's 10 to 4 in the afternoon. I haven't updated you yet. I was in a bit of a rush this morning, honestly. I didn't get up with Andy again. Struggled with sleep last night really bad. I was very, very anxious for reasons, which I'm not going to go into. And then I had an appointment this afternoon at 2 o'clock, so in town. So I've spent the morning getting ready, doing the invoices for my dad because I didn't do them yesterday, sorting a couple of bits out for the shop because we've got the new bookmarks going up this evening, which I really need to sort out because they're going up in the next 2 hours and 40 minutes. And then just making my way into town. I had a wander around Waterstones, went to my appointment, and then I've just gotten back, so I've had some lunch, and yeah, that's pretty much what I've done with my day so far. I haven't read anything. I did make really good progress in Credence yesterday though, and I'm on page 416, so I haven't got long left at all. In fact, I think I have just over 100 pages to go. So loving this. Absolutely loving this. Can't remember what I told you yesterday. There's been a couple of times where I've almost cried. There was a point, chapter 22 I think it was, in which we got to see a little bit more of Caleb's softer side, and in that moment I was completely obsessed. This guy is a little bit of a dick. And I don't want to tell you anything that it doesn't say on the back, but he's a little bit of a dick. He's a lot of a dick actually. But he has this really incredible soft side on occasion with Tiernan. And then obviously we've got Noah and Jake. I think I might ship Noah, sorry, not Noah and Jake, that's weird. Tiernan and Jake the most, but that's probably because of where the initial relationships started. So we're at a point now, you know, where she's at the, you know, she's not choosing point. It's just balls to the wall. Literally. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm interested to see what's going to happen in the last 100 pages. I still feel like there are not enough pages in this book, I'm not gonna lie. But that's where I'm up to with my update with reading. But I did get a few things in the mail / in Waterstones today. These two came yesterday and they are from HarperCollins. They had a sale last month. I think it was last month or the month before, and I did some advertisement for them in exchange for a couple of books. So the books that I have requested are Kindling by Bonnie Woods, which is a romance, one grumpy Scottish woodsman, one uprooted city girl, one autumn that changes everything. So I'll probably try and pick this up very, very soon actually, maybe even this week, we'll see what happens. But looks absolutely adorable and I'm obsessed with this cover, so very excited for that one. And then I also got Butter by Asako Yuzuki. It's translated fiction, but it's a much chunkier one than I'm used to as far as like my translated fictions are concerned. There are two things that I simply cannot tolerate: feminists and margarine. Okay. I don't have any idea fully what this is about. I've definitely read the synopsis at least once at some point and been very interested by it, which is why I requested it. But other than that, I don't know what this is about fully. So, a runway international bestseller inspired by the real case of the con woman known as the Konkatsu Killer. Asako Yuzuki's Butter, translated by Polly Barton, is a vivid, unsettling exploration of misogyny, obsession, romance, and the transgressive pleasures of food in Japan. It sounds really, really interesting. This book is freaking massive though. 450 odd pages, it's huge. But it sounds really interesting. I thought I would give it a bash. So I kind of like love this blood spatter on it. So I got those two from HarperCollins. Thank you to them for sending me these two, I truly appreciate it. And then from Waterstones this afternoon I've gotten these four. Now it's not as bad as it looks, I promise. I promise. It's the first of the month, but it's not as bad as it looks, I swear. I took 2 books back, so 2 books have been exchanged for 2 of these books. So I took back a copy of Credence by Penelope Douglas because I completely forgot I had a copy coming from Books Please, and then ordered a copy from Waterstones. They arrived within days of each other. And then I took back a copy of the Village Library Demon Hunting Society because the publishers then sent me a copy. So I took those 2 back in exchange for 2 other books, and they are both Stephen King books. I know. I've read a handful of Stephen King. I've read Carrie, I've read Pet Sematary, Misery, Rose Madder. Can't remember what else I've read, but I've read a handful of Stephen King, never had a 5-star, but the majority of them I've really enjoyed enough to give them 4 stars and want to read more from him. Oh, I read The Gunslinger, the first Gunslinger book. I'm never continuing that series. That one I think was a 2 or 3 star. But I've picked up 2 that I've always been interested in. So I've got Cujo, which I think is a possessed dog or something. Once upon a time, not so long ago, a monster came to the town of Castle Rock, Maine. Cujo is a huge St. Bernard dog, the best friend Brett Camber has ever had. Then one day Cujo chases a rabbit into a bolt hole, except it isn't a rabbit warren anymore, it's a cave inhabited by rabid bats. And Cujo falls sick, very sick, and the gentle giant who once protected the family becomes a vortex of horror, inexorably drawing in all the people around him. Sounds really interesting. So I am interested in this one. It looks way bigger than it actually is as well. It's like 400 odd pages, but I think it looks bigger. So I got that one. And then I also got Salem's Lot as well, which I think is the second book that Stephen King ever did, Carrie being the first. So I'm intrigued about reading this one. This book is fucking huge, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, Carrie, Salem's Lot. This book is 750 fucking pages. How is that possible when this one's only 400 odd? There are 300 pages more in this. Anyway, it's because it's got Bible pages, that's how it's possible. Anywho, this one is about, Salem's Lot is a small, I think it's a haunted house story. I'm not going to read you the synopsis, we'll be here all day. I think it's a haunted house story. So I got those two from Waterstones this afternoon. They'll look really nice on my shelves. Look how orange they are. I would love to have Stephen King shelves, to be honest. And then the other two that I did purchase while I was there, I got this one, which is Mallory Vale and the Curse of Maggoty Skull by Martin Howard. This apparently is Waterstones' book of the month for middle grade. And it's following Mallory Vale, who can see dead people and mostly tries to ignore them, but when her parents are ghost snatched, she's forced to team up with a talkative skull to get them back. Maggoty Skull promises to teach her the dark skills she needs, but only if she gets him a magnificent wig, and promises to break the curse that he has been placed under. It just looks really cute and, well, spooky actually, but it's got illustrations throughout as well. Love me a good middle grade that's got illustrations. So I decided to pick that one up, and then I also got a copy of Daydream by Hannah Grace, which is the third book in this series that I have not yet started, but Icebreaker is on my October TBR, so fingers crossed we enjoy it. I have heard that there's ADHD representation in here, which I'm obviously 100% here for, so I got that one as well. Then I have a parcel from Waterstones, which is a pre-order of, what is this a pre-order of? Oh yeah, Pirate's Life for Tea by Rebecca Thorne. This is the Waterstones with sprayed edges and signed one, and I haven't finished this yet. It comes out on the 3rd of October, but I haven't yet finished it. I'll be doing a review on the 10th, so I'm just going to get the audiobook to finish this off because I'm like 99 pages in, but I am struggling not with the book itself but with the fantasy side of it. It is a cozy fantasy. It is the sequel to Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, which I'm really sad that I don't have the Waterstone sprayed edges of for that. But this is now my 3rd copy of this book because I have an ARC and I have a copy from the publisher. So yeah, Waterstones edition of that. And then I have this very exciting parcel which has come all the way from Australia and I'm really excited about. I saw on Lauren Fiction Tea's Instagram the other day that she had a code for this company, and I have been wanting to get a new reading journal, so I end up treating myself to one of this company's reading journals. This company's one of their reading journals, Jesus Christ, and it is the Quirky Cup Collective. I think that's what they're called anyway. What does it say on the front? Yes, look at me go. Oh my goodness, so pretty. I wonder if these will dissolve. So exciting. So I got myself a pen, a new journaling pen, some ink to go inside said pen for when it runs out. So pretty. I'm so excited about this. It's not cheap. It costs a pretty penny, but oh Jesus, Lauren does have a discount code for them, so I did get a little bit of money off, but I've really wanted to treat myself to a new journal because I had to. The law said so. Also, once I started looking, Andy was like, "Ooh, that's a nice one. Why don't you get that one?" So I did. Didn't need the extra encouragement necessarily, but alas, It is what it is. They do both like normal journals and reading journals, and I did get this reading journal, which is absolutely stunning. It's got gilded edges and I'm freaking hyped. Let me in. I don't want to break you. Let me in. Thank you. Stunning. Reading Adventures of. Oh, there's a contents page so you can write down everything, where everything is. You can't see that, it's too bright. A welcome page. Look at this bookshelf. Stunning. I'm really hoping that it will, oh, they give you more pages so you can draw more bookshelves if you want to. Fantastic news, because goals and to-do list, I always run out of space. Upcoming releases, and whether or not you've ordered them, a reading tracker. This is brilliant, absolutely stunning. This is beautiful. I am obsessed. I'm very excited that I treated myself to this. So shout out to me for that. Shout out to Andy for encouraging it. Shout out to Quirky Cup Collective, and shout out to Lauren for the discount code, because I wouldn't have got it without you, babes. So yeah, anyway, that was a really long update, but that's my little haul and what's been going on today. So I'm going to go, because I've got a lot I need to do now before Andy gets home from work. I've got to put the bookmarks up on the shop. I've got to get the shop ready. I've got to get myself ready. I was going to try and film a video. I don't think I'm going to have time, but I could do with at least editing tomorrow's video or getting it started. That's for damn sure, because I haven't even started doing that because I took yesterday off. So busy. I'm going to go and get some of that stuff done. Hello, good morning. It is Wednesday. No, it's not. It's Thursday. It's Thursday. We skipped Wednesday. I was at work yesterday at my brother's, so I didn't update you. I did get a little bit of reading done. In fact, I have got a little bit of reading done over the last couple of days, but I haven't updated you. So I need to do that. Where are they come from? Oh yeah, I need to do that. But I'm still not finished with Creed and Share by Penelope Douglas, and by mood reading week, this is what I mean. I've dipped into another book. However, I think most of my prime time reading will happen this weekend. Andy is at work all weekend, and I'm trying to get my filming done now while he's nipped out to get his hair done, so that I don't need to do it over the weekend. I may need to do some editing, but I would love to just read for me over the weekend. Have a nice, relaxing, quiet weekend of just reading for myself. Maybe some sprints with my patrons, but otherwise just reading for me. And I'm excited. So I am still on page 416 of Credence. I haven't moved any further on with this. I've ended up picking up a new book, and it is Wolf by Paisley Hope. Now, I was scrolling through my TikTok, Kindle. We're having a struggle today. I've just filmed my wrap up and said the words Harlan Coben for Harlan Coben in my wrap up. So Kindle, and I was scrolling through my Kindle, couldn't decide what to read. I should really be focusing on some arcs, but I ended up not picking one up. I do have an arc from Paisley Hope that comes out on the 17th of this month. Still intend to get to it, but I wanted to read this one because it's come out since Holding the Reins, and I wanted to give this one a bash. So this is a MC, it's a motorcycle club, and we are following Wolf, his name is actually Gabriel, and we are also following Brinley. Is that her name? Yes, Brinley. Now Brinley in the beginning of this has a boyfriend. She thinks they're about to, well, she's struggling with her job a little bit. She was hoping to get a promotion, but it looks like she's just been made redundant. So her partner then phones up. She hasn't told him yet. Her partner then phones up and he's like, look, let's go out tonight, blah blah blah, I've got something really special I want to tell you. And she thinks he's going to propose, and that's not what happens. So she ends up moving back to her old hometown, which called Harmony, which now has this motorcycle club in it and has slowly but surely over the years been building up. But she hasn't been back to town for a long time. Her best friend, Layla, lives there. She's her jelly to her peanut butter. Very cute, peanut butter jelly. Adorable. and Layla is getting married. Now, Brinley had told to one of the guys from the MC. Now, Brinley had told Layla that they couldn't make it because she, you know, didn't think that they could make it, but it turns out she's now back in town. She's moved back to her parents' old place, which she never did anything with. So she's now moved back to there. It needs doing up and everything, but she's now very quickly found herself in this space of the MC and has caught the eye of Gabriel, aka Wolf, who is the MC the president of the MC Motorcycle Club. So if you like Sons of Anarchy, I think you're gonna like this one. I'm very excited. I love Sons of Anarchy. Charlie Hunnam is chef's kiss and I am obsessed with him. Whether he plays Jax Teller or somebody else, I'm obsessed with Charlie Hunnam. So I'm having a great time with this already. Gabriel has been described as looking like Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones, aka Jason Momoa. So, you know, if you were but just fucking covered in tattoos and rides a motorcycle, so if you were interested in that, this may be up your street. But I am obsessed with this cover. There is a secondary, I'm having this problem now with indie books where they have two different covers, one with people on and one without, because the authors understood the assignment and know that not everybody likes covers with people on. I do. I'm currently having this issue with Tell Me It's Right by Katie Wismer. I've no idea which copy to pick up, so I haven't picked up either of them. Normally I would pick up both of them. I had a similar situation with this, but I ended up going for this one, but they also have this one and I do think it's very beautiful. So I'm going to read this, see how I feel about it, and if I'm obsessed I might get both, but we'll see. Trying my very hardest not to do that. But I'm currently on page 126. I was on page 25 last night and I blasted through 100 pages of this last night. It got really good really quick. We've already had some spice between Wolf and Brinley, which happened quite quickly, I'm not going to lie, but Paisley's done such a good job of building the tension between these two already, with just like looks across the room and things like that, that I'm already here for it. I'm already shipping them and I'm very excited to see where this goes, because, you know, these motorcycle clubs, not all of them, I am not tainting all motorcycle clubs with the same brush, but these motorcycle clubs, Sons of Anarchy, this motorcycle club, they have some dodgy ways of doing things and not everything is above board with them, you know? They're not always legal. And that is the case with this motorcycle club, very similar to Sons. So they've gotten in a little bit of a situation now where things are not 100% safe, and Wolf's now top priority for some reason is Brinley. He is the type of man that doesn't do relationships, he doesn't do kissing on the mouth, he will sleep with someone once and then move on, and he seems to have an obsession with Brinley. She's the chosen one. It's that trope. Some people will roll their eyes at it. I don't mind it and I'm having a great time. So this is the other thing that I'm reading. I clearly needed like dark romance, thicker books this week as far as my romance is concerned, because both of these are working for me right now. So I'm aiming to finish this. I want to finish this. I would love to pick up some other things over the weekend, so I'm hoping that that will be the case. If I do finish this, I may go on to the arc that I have of Paisley Hope's next book as well, which is Training the Heart, which is the follow-on from Holding the Reins, which I read earlier on this year and gave 5 stars to. So maybe it could be a Paisley Hope weekend. I don't know, we'll see. But that's what I'm up to. That's what's going on. That's what's happening. That's what you've missed out on the last couple of days. I'm going to go because I'm going to do my very best to try and film yet another video before Andy gets home, in the hopes that I can at least get all my videos filmed, if they won't be edited, but at least filmed for the rest of the week. So I will chat back in with you when I have another update for you. Okay, hello. It's Saturday morning. Andy's gone off to work and I have the whole weekend to read to myself, and I love that for me. It is currently 10 past 10. I took my sweet time getting up this morning. I didn't get up with him and my intention was to get up for 7:30, 8 o'clock. I didn't wake up till 9. So today's plan, finish Credence because I'm not too far. I've not got long left and I've not finished this yet. So my aim is to finish that. I would like to finish Wolf as well. Maybe not today, but by the end of the weekend. I have made some more progress on this and I'm approximately just shy of 48%. So I was on chapter 18, page 126, and I'm now on I'm now on chapter 20. Oh, that's too far. Page 188. So I had like 60 pages last night. This got real freaking dark, real freaking quick. We start off with a chapter from Gabriel's perspective in which they have some club business going down, which is to do with a guy that has done something very, very dodgy, and they are in the process of torturing him. And we then, as we get to kind of like the clinch point with that POV, and we're about to find out exactly what is going on, it switches then to like back in the past, a few days in the past, in which Brinley is obviously finding out what's going on with her partner and then moving back home, and we are then having them two meeting. So we've now got to a point where we've gone back to that moment, we're in that moment, and we're finding out exactly what happened. And now, at this point now, she is in a point where she has now joined the MC. She has no choice because of what she's seen. She's had to join the MC to protect her, and as you know, as Gabriel's essentially. But there was like a moment, and now listen, I haven't read the likes of like Den of Vipers, and this is probably the very first time that I am touching into blood play, but also like, I think anyway, but also like foreign objects, you know? Do you know what I mean? Foreign objects. It's the first time I'm touching on that, I think. So that was shocking. I couldn't decide if I was intrigued or disgusted. I don't know if that's how I was meant to feel or not. I couldn't decide, and I'm still not sure. So I'm interested to see where this goes. But I think I would pick another one up. So I've never picked up Den of Vipers for multiple reasons. Gavin says nobody should be reading that book. I know a few of my friends love it, but I know that it's incredibly dark, and it has a lot of like knife play and gun play and blood play and all of that stuff. So I've never picked it up because I always thought maybe it was just a little bit too dark for me, maybe. But maybe I'm on my way. I wasn't anticipating that from this. Probably should have done, but I'm still really enjoying this, having a very good time. And the fact that that's just happened and I still have all of this to go, I think that this relationship is going to build. A lot of people will say that this is very insta-lovey, but I think that it's different to insta-love. I think I've been through this before with you, in that there is insta-love where these two, a little bit like Best Hex Ever, where you know you could just feel the spark immediately, and for me it wasn't insta-love. For some people it might be. I felt the spark immediately. I loved that. In this, I kind of felt that I wouldn't necessarily say maybe there's a spark between these two, but I kind of felt the spark immediately. It wasn't insta-love for me. It was very quick, but I didn't mind it, and I'm intrigued to see where it goes. So yeah, would love to finish both of those this weekend. I'm aiming to finish this and then maybe move on to this, or because it's my physical read, I might start another audiobook. But I don't know what's wrong with me at the moment, but I am desperate to start God of Malice by Rena Kent. God of Malice by Rena Kent. I'm desperate to start it. I don't know what's gotten into me. I've been wanting to read it for a while, but I really do want to pick it up. So I might pick that one up as well. That's a possibility. I don't physically own it, but I wanted to try it before I started buying physical copies. So I might give that one a go as well. I have the audiobook, so I can audio and follow along with the Kindle. So we'll see what happens. I seem to be in my dark romance era, and I'm kind of here for it, I'm not gonna lie. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I have the whole weekend to read. I've got sprints with patrons at 12. I have the Fellowship of the Ring live show at 7. And then obviously Andy will be back from home. And then tomorrow, I would really love to get up with him first thing in the morning. So I've got the whole ass day to read. So we'll see what happens with that tomorrow. I'm not planning on doing Patreon sprints tomorrow. I want the day for myself. If I decide I want to read a bit in the morning and then watch some TV and then read a bit in the afternoon, I'll do that. Just want to chill this weekend and read what I want to read. So let's go and do that. Okay, good morning. It is Sunday. I didn't update you much yesterday actually. Once I got into my books, I really got into my books yesterday. So I do have a couple of updates for you. The first update that I have for you is that I did finish Credence by Penelope Douglas yesterday. I gave this 4.5 stars. This was really good. I did like how this wrapped up, but I think I already mentioned who my ship was in this, and it wasn't who it ended up being, albeit I think I did see the book going that way. I think it's mentioned potentially, not fully in the synopsis, but there's like a, I don't know where I've seen it, but there is something that kind of indicates that it goes the way it goes. So I did anticipate it going that way, but there was a specific ship that I had in mind, but then that very quickly changed. I loved this. I thought it was really, really good. I loved the writing style. I do see this as a taboo romance, which we're going to get on a conversation of in a minute. Some people will see this as a taboo and completely be against it because it is family mixing with family and they see it as incest. Quick clarification, that is not the case. They are not blood related, so there is no incest goes on in this. But I know for some people it is still a little bit weird. It took me a minute to get used to, but then I was okay. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. Penelope Douglas so far has not yet let me down with any of her books that I have read. So I had a very good time with this. A book that then did let me down, God of Malice by Rena Ken. I have wanted to pick this up for a little while now. It has been on my radar for a good maybe year or so, but more so heavily since seeing coming across Larry Reed's on TikTok and then seeing her boasting about this book and absolutely loving the series. So it was very much so in the forefront of my mind for this week, and I decided to pick it up. Now I got 42 pages in, and there is a very fine line. I will never yuck anybody's yum, but there is a very fine line between dark romance and straight up sexual assault and rape, essentially. There is a very fine line, and this book crosses it. It crosses it by a mile. It's not even funny how far this book crosses that line. And I cannot, for the life of me, understand. I don't know, like, it is one thing. I have read books with sexual assault and raping before, but it's usually a case between, you know, one of our main characters has had that happen to them, and then they meet the love interest, and then maybe the love interest, you know, gets revenge, or it's just discussed in the book. Something like that. There is a book that I have read it in, but the circumstances were completely different in that book. I'm thinking of Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. Circumstances entirely different in that book, and they did play a very heavy part in what happened in that book. If you know, you know. But I don't think that I have ever, other than Still Beating, read a book in which our love interests start off the book with sexual assault or rape. And then I'm supposed to be okay about this going forward with the book. Now, Rena does do a quick note in the front of her book to say that this features a male main character who is a literal psychopath, and he is very much so a morally black character. There is no morally grey in this book. He will not become a better character at the end of the book. He will not change for this love interest, nothing like that. He will be a psychopath through the whole book. So on the basis that I got 3 chapters into this book and 2 chapters in we had a sexual assault, I made the decision not to continue with this book because it made me feel very, very uncomfortable. I just couldn't do it. I read a few reviews. I don't think it's going to necessarily get any better on that front, and therefore I made the decision to put this book down and DNF it. I did. It's the only time I've ever left a review, like a star rating on a review on that. A star rating on a book that I've DNF'd on Goodreads. I normally just pop it in my DNF folder so that I remember that I have tried it before and I have DNF'd it. I don't normally give a rating. I may give a reason, but I don't give a rating. However, with this one, I have put a 1-star rating on it because I genuinely believe that Rena has gone a little bit too far with this. And I think There's trigger warnings in the book, granted, but I don't know. This is one of those situations where it's sitting right in the grey area, you know, there's no white and black. I know that I am definitely one of those people that will never yuck anybody's yum, ever. But I feel like this is one of those books that I need to give very heavy warnings for, in order for me. There is no situation in which I would ever recommend this book. There is usually a case in which, even if I DNF a book, it's a case of it just wasn't for me for these reasons. It could be for you for these reasons. Usually, I would say 95% of the time that is the case. The other 5% of the time is a situation like this, or the book was actually genuinely really badly written. So in this situation, this might be one of the first times that I've ever had this, in which I'm very, very torn, because I know I'm repeating myself, don't like to yuck anybody's yum, and very clearly this is a popular book. I wish I knew the reasons why, but very clearly this is a popular book, and I just, in this situation, cannot get behind it. I can't. It made me feel physically sick. In the first 42 pages, 3 chapters of this book, I just couldn't do it anymore. So I DNF'd that one. I then found myself wondering what to pick up next, and ended up going for, Chloe recommended me, one of my patrons that I accidentally keep doing buddy reads with. She recommended the Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas, and I was like, I just finished a Penelope Douglas, should I be reading Penelope Douglas back to back? But then I was like, well, why the fuck not? Because she's not done me wrong yet, you know? Pen for the win. So I decided to pick up Corrupt. Let me tell you how far I am into this book. So yesterday I read 319 pages of Corrupt. I was flying through this book, absolutely flying. I'm 64% in and I'm having a good time. This book deals with a couple of things that I haven't dealt with before until now, but I am finding my feet with a little bit. On occasion I'm like, oh, that's weird, and I'm not sure how I feel about that, but then I kind of get into the swing of it. I'm intrigued more than anything, but also ever so slightly a little bit disturbed. So we're following Erica, we're following Michael. This is told in 2 different timelines. It's told 3 years ago on Devil's Night, and it's told in present day. And something happened 3 years ago, which means that Michael and his band of merry men, the 4 horsemen, are now in a position where they're trying to get revenge on Erica for something that happened 3 years ago. As we go through the book, we're getting the revenge plot present day, but then we're getting the story slowly but surely unfolding of what happened 3 years ago. It's done in a very clever way. Now, Erica and Michael's families have decided that Erica will end up being with Michael's younger brother Trevor, who is obsessed with Erica. So in 3 years ago, they're not together. Present day, they have been together. She's broken up with him. She wants to get the fuck out of Dodge and go at it herself. So she ends up in Michael's building. He's planned this very, very carefully, and it is quite dodgy, in all honesty. Would I say that this is a bully romance? I potentially would, maybe. I just can't put my finger on what the fuck is going on, in all honesty. Like, 1 minute I get the feeling that he doesn't want to play this part anymore with her, and he's got more feelings for her than he's letting on, and he might try and stop it. And then the next, he does something and I'm like, this guy is a fucking dick. He is a dick. And the push and pull with it, and the tugging back and forth, insanely good. I will say, insanely good. As I say, I haven't been able to put this down. I smashed out 319 pages yesterday, and that was after I read 105 pages of Credence and 40 pages of that piece of crap, God of Malice. So it's going well and I'm enjoying Corrupt so far. In Pen We Trust. So I then went to bed last night after Andy got home. I then went to bed last night and I picked up Wolf in bed. I read so many pages yesterday. Picked up Wolf in bed and I was on page 188 and I made it to page 242. I would have read some more, but honestly at that point I was absolutely shattered. So I think my aim today is to try and finish this. I don't know how many pages I've got left, but obviously this is a physical read. So it's taken me a little bit longer than Corrupt because I have the audiobook as well. So I'm on page 242 and there are 402 pages. So I've got 160 pages left to read of this. So I want to finish this today and I want to finish Corrupt today as well. So we'll see how that goes, but that is my plan. I also have, God, this update's going on and on and on. I also have, I don't even know if I'm in focus. Here we go. I've also got a parcel here as well. I finally made a decision on which one of these to get, and as it turns out, for some reason I can't get the other one anymore anyway. So I was going on about in my wrap up which cover to get for this book, because I got an arc of it, and if I enjoy a book I do like to get a trophy for my shelves and support the author, especially an indie author as well, by buying a copy of the book, even if I might never reread it again. Just like to have it on my shelves, especially when they're as pretty as this. And I couldn't decide between the two covers, but it turns out I can't seem to find the other one on Amazon anymore. So I did end up getting the one with people on it, and I'm really happy I got this one, to be honest, because it is stunning. And I really loved this book. It was so good. To be fair, it's the sort of one, because she's got a second one coming out as well, it's the sort of book that I potentially would reread again because I enjoyed it so much. So I did get this one. It's not too horrendously stiff either, which is nice. Stunning. So yeah, very excited to have a physical copy of this now too. So anyway, I'm gonna go because I really need to get a shufty on with the day if my aim is to finish both of these books today. I've still got just over 2 hours, I think, of the audiobook of Corrupt. Yeah, 2 hours and 6 minutes of Corrupt left, and then 160 pages of Wolf left. I don't know whether to try and smash out like 100 pages of Wolf first, or whether to just try and smash that book out in general first, albeit, to be fair, that is the sort of book that I can take to bed with me later on and finish off in bed if need be. So maybe I just do Corrupt first and then go back to Wolf later, albeit Wolf was the last thing I picked up last night and it is in the forefront of my mind now as opposed to Corrupt. I don't know, I'll figure it out, but I'm gonna go and get these books finished. Okay, hello. It is now 2:45. I need to get shufty on. I finished Corrupt. It was so good. Listen, Penelope Douglas has given me whiplash. In fact, I think she'd probably given me whiplash in quite a few of her books, but this one for sure. I didn't know if I was coming or going. The push and pull, the back and forth with hating these men and then loving some of them. There was one that I basically disliked from beginning to end, and I know that his book is book 3, Kill Switch. Is it Kill Switch? And I'm not necessarily looking forward to that book, I've got to be honest, because I know the books get bigger as you go on as well, but I honestly don't know how he would have a redemption arc, to be perfectly honest, but I am nervous about his book, so we'll see what happens with that. But I loved this. It was so good. I'm trying to think now what I've rated other Penelope Douglas books. So I gave Credence 4.5 stars. I've read Punk 57 and I've read Birthday Girl. I'm fairly certain that I gave Birthday Girl 5 stars. But let's have a quick look. Punk 57. Oh, I gave 5 stars. Okay. Credence I've given 4.5. Birthday Girl I gave 5 stars. Corrupt I've given 5 stars as well. So, you know, things are going well. I have Bully on my shelves as well. I've also got Tris 6 Venom, so I'm interested to see how well they go. But that series now, the Devil's Night series, I would really like to continue on with very, very quickly, actually. I just want to carry on with it. So I'm going to move on to Wolf. Sorry, my review, my thoughts on Corrupt. I really enjoyed it, loved the writing. She had me hooked from beginning to end on the basis that I sat here yesterday and literally read like 300 and odd pages. Pretty impressive. And then I've finished the rest of it off today. So I was like, I think I got 64% in yesterday and I finished the rest off today. So like 36% today. And I loved it. It was fantastic. And it's not like me to read an author back to back either. So I finished Credence. I did try something else with Rena Kent, but then went back to Penn. She just has not failed me yet. I loved Rika. She is incredible and I'm very excited to see more of her in the series. I hope that we do see quite a bit of her in the series. And I actually loved Kai as well. I've got to be honest, I really enjoyed Kai's character and the whole steam room scene. I kind of loved it. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really good. At moments, I wanted to burn the world down and save Rika, but she didn't need the help. And I loved that she kind of got to a point where she almost was playing into their hands but wasn't. She was playing her own game and she ended up flipping it all on its head and having them playing her game, and I loved that. I loved her. She was such a fucking badass, and I am excited to see where the series goes. So yeah, I'm excited to get to Hideaway. I've got it downloaded on my Kindle next, so we'll see when I get a chance to pick that up. But as I said, I need to continue on with Wolf now and try and get this finished today as well. I do have about 160 pages to go, so let's see how this one goes. Alright, howdy doody. I'm here to wrap this vlog up. It is still Sunday. It doesn't look like it right now. This umbrella light is doing all of the things and I am obsessed. I don't know why I forget every single time that I have this thing that will help me function as a human being when the nights are darker very early. It's not that early, it's 7:15. But I have now completed the books that I was reading this week. So I think this vlog will not be so much of a like cozier vlog with more b-roll. I don't think I've got a great deal of b-roll, to be honest. I think this vlog will indicate how a mood reading vlog will go for me. I think I also want to continue the mood reading on into the rest of the month. So just take this as your note that there's a good chance I will not actually stick to the books that I put on my October TBR. If you saw that, you should probably ignore it other than the rolls. Because there's a good chance I'm going to dip in and out of those books and actually put different books in for those rolls. I will stick to the prompts, just not the books. I don't think. I will try and do the best I can, but I just need to mood read. I need to pick up stuff as and when I want to. There are a couple of books I do still have to read, like obviously the ones that came out with prompts. So for example, like Half a Soul and 1 Year at Ellesmere, and also Bunny, that I do need to read because it's a buddy read. I will be picking up, but the rest of it, free as a freaking bird. So we will see what happens with that. But this week I have managed to read Credence by Penelope Douglas, which I gave 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this. Then I read, well, then I DNF'd God of Malice because it's a fucking terrible book and just pushes the boundaries that I am not willing to be okay with, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, actually, it's not okay. Just not willing to go there. Then I did read Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. I loved this. This was so good. I gave it 5 stars. What I will say is that the books that I read this week obviously were very similar in tone and the types of characters that we had. So we would have, to be fair, Corrupt and Wolf were probably way more similar than Credence was with these two. But we had kind of like the dark, obviously it's dark romance, we had the darker elements, we had quite a fierce female MC in these books as well that may have been a little bit of a wallflower beforehand and became quite dark and gritty by the end of it, and I just loved that. I loved how vicious they became and, you know, how much they would stand up for themselves, and I just adored that in every single one of these books. So I've had a great time. So loved Corrupt, gave it 5 stars, and then I have just finished Wolf by Paisley Hope. This was so freaking good. Very violent. a little bit sick in places. There was a couple of places where the violence came in and I was like, ugh, that's made me feel a little bit sick. The torture scenes in here, just beware. There's probably a list of triggers, to be perfectly honest. I don't know if there is a list of triggers. Oh yeah, there is a little bit of a list. Violence expected with the life of an outlaw motorcycle club, including but not limited to, so on and so forth. There is a lot going on in here, but it was fucking brilliant. If you like Sons of Anarchy and you like your dark romances, I think you're gonna love this, because I freaking loved it. It was so good. Brinley, again, quite the wallflower when we met her, and by the end of this book she was such a fucking badass. I actually don't know who I love more from Corrupt and Wolf, between Rika and Brinley, because this was great, but these two, complete fucking badasses, and I loved them both immensely, and I'm excited at the prospect of seeing both of them again. Obviously this is the Devil Knight series, so we'll see Rika again. This one at the back, it does say that there's going to be more from the Hounds of Hell motorcycle club, so I'm really excited, because I was really hoping that would be the case. I'm also very excited that I got this cover now, and I'm really hoping that we end up getting these covers going forward with these books as well. So buzzing, absolutely love this. I haven't run it through Corpad, but I'm giving it 5 fucking stars. It was so good. So yeah, had a great time with this, I will say, and I've just had a really good week, to be perfectly honest, with the books that I've read. I'm kind of sticking with my authors right now. I picked up Credence at the end of last week's vlog, then I did try and dip into something else, but that wasn't for me. Then I went to another pen with Corrupt, and then I've gone for Wolf by Paisley Ho, which actually I did start earlier on in the week, so I was reading these side by side. So I was reading this throughout the whole week, but I am now going to start the following week off with another Paisley Hope. I have an arc of her next book coming out, so I'm going to continue on with Paisley, I think. But yeah, I feel like I had a really good week with my reading. I only finished 3 books. I did DNF something else, so essentially 4, but most of it has been, actually that's a lie because I physically own these 2, but you know, Corrupt and the book I'm not going to mention again because I'm on it, it just knocks me sick, quite frankly, were both Kindle Unlimited books. These are also both Kindle Unlimited books, so I did kind of, this one I did physically read, like with the audiobook. This I did on Kindle, but I've done quite a few Kindle Unlimited books this week as well, which is really nice. I have also noticed there's a couple of flaws with my Kindle. It's running very slow, so I may end up looking into another Kindle device potentially. There is obviously that Amazon sale coming up quite soon, and probably when this vlog goes up actually, so I may look into that as well, but we'll see. But yeah, really happy, even though I've not read masses compared to what I might normally do. I feel like oh, I thought my hair was sticking out. I feel like I've had a fun week. I would like to continue on the mood reading train because I'm having a good time. So yeah, chat to me in the comments down below if you read any of these. Are you going to pick any up because I've recommended them? I would be intrigued to know. Let me know down below. And thank you again to the sponsor of this video, who are Serious Readers. Again, if you would like to get £100 off a high definition light and free UK shipping, you can use my code Steph24, which I will leave in the description box down below, along with a link to Serious Readers. Do go and check them out. I would highly recommend. Thank you to them again for sponsoring this video. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will see you in whatever comes next. Bye for now.